Above, start cleaning those tires up. On green this time. Remember they fan out down there, so protect them bottoms. Sunday drive. All right, boss man. Face car's off. Be ready. Bud, be ready. Gas that bitch up. Ready, ready. Green flag. Green.
Welcome, everybody, to the Inside Pass on WSIC TV. Back for another week of what little racing talk we can do. There's not a whole lot to talk about, but we will try to do as best as we can. I'm Randy Miller. Tom's actually sitting on the other side of the
you should have told Wait a minute. Because I got like way younger looking. Over
That's true. I was there's Tom right there. Tom's in the Silman seat.
What's the mystery?
Sitting next to me before the camera changed. That's Hunter Smith from Fitstop Performance. We'll talk to him about basically his role in the sport of auto racing pertains to a lot of the regimen that the drivers have in terms of their fitness and keeping in shape and all that, which is really kind of hard to do right now with everybody being stuck at home. So hopefully he can shed some light on even you guys at home on some little things that you guys can do to stay fit and active when you're quarantined at home with your family or wherever you're at and however you're dealing with this coronavirus situation. We'll try to fit some of that stuff in, and maybe he can give you guys some tips on that as well. So the name of the game, I guess, at least going forward for the next 6-7 weeks or so, is coronavirus and iRacing. Hopefully they don't go together, because if a coronavirus gets into iRacing, we're all screwed for the next few weeks. But nonetheless, the iRacing has pretty much taken over all of the NASCAR portion of the airwaves, at least going forward for the next few weeks, because NASCAR kind of collaborated with iRacing, came up with a very unique way to continue racing, even though it doesn't really count. Although a part of me kind of feels like we should count it, just for fun. We should just count the wins as points and just keep the season going, even if we can't do it live. Whatever. That would mean that guys like Garrett Smithley could potentially make the chase. That would be awesome.
Rick Warren Racing would be all about that.
But they had a big race at Homestead on Sunday. There's another race next Sunday at Texas, which is conveniently the next race on the NASCAR schedule. This was going to follow the NASCAR schedule for a while until we get back to racing. But you guys can send me hate mail all you want. I'm not a huge iRacing person. I don't. It's not as exciting to me as the real thing, but of course I wasn't into it as a kid, so maybe that's why. But I know it's gotten a huge fan following. FS1 got about almost 1 million viewers for the race on Sunday, so they're doing good things. It just, for me, it doesn't take the place of the real thing. But a lot of the drivers are into it. Fox has kind of taken it, amongst themselves to kind of, do the camera angles and the interviews and kind of make it as much of the real thing as possible. So it's gaining a lot of ground, Tom. I mean, it's, what can you do in this situation? Really?
Look, for my it wasn't supposed to take the place of real racing.
True.
It was supposed to provide mood lift and entertainment.
Right.
And I think they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think that could have possibly gone any better. The only thing I might have changed, and maybe they'll change it for Texas this week, I don't know, is I thought the 2 resets was a bit much, because I felt like people were less concerned about crashing because they could just get another car. I think you need to move that to 1 just to kind of keep things moving a little bit. But other than that, I thought it was great. I think the one thing you will probably see at Texas that you didn't see last weekend is more driver radio. You'll hear more from the drivers. Mm-hmm. I'm told that's relatively easy to set up, but that Fox, because they kind of put everything together in such a hurry to make that first one work, they just didn't get a chance to kind of go through and make that. But we'll probably see more or hear more from the drivers at Texas, which I thought was great. I mean, it was very entertaining. Everybody had a good time. Nobody was complaining after it was over, other than maybe about the resets or whatever. It's iRacing. It's not supposed to be a real thing.
Hunter, what's your take?
I thought it was cool. It's definitely something different, and I started to. I was talking to my friends as it was kind of going on, and I talked about how this could potentially be. I mean, it's here, but it could potentially be the future of the sport. I mean, how much does a simulator cost as opposed to $400,000 race cars? So, the biggest thing that I found was super interesting was the people you were talking about. So the whole race, Timmy Hill, Garrett Smithley, Dale Jr., Denny Hamlin, they were, killing it out there. They were doing great, but, Brad Keselowski was in the race. Joey Logano was in the race. And
they were at the race. I'm not sure they were really ever in it.
But that was insane how they just didn't even make mention. They were there. You really didn't hear about it at all. Sure. So I don't know. It was interesting. It was better than nothing. Like we talked about, it doesn't take place at the real thing, but it wasn't supposed to. But it was interesting. It's awesome. And with no sports going on right now, it was bound to do well. There's nothing going on. Let's sit back and watch these guys play video game. You know what I mean? It's a high-end video game.
So. Yeah, I think that's what NASCAR's advantage is that we can do something no other sport can do, and that's simulation. Basically just run into our simulation world because you can't really do that with football or soccer. Right. I mean, there's video games, but I mean, in terms
of... You can't tell me that LeBron can't go out there and play 2K, and they put it on.
And they
put it on ESPN.
But to me, it's like
don't give him any ideas.
That's true. He doesn't need that. But like in the NASCAR world, you can pretty much build a simulation chassis in your living room and sit there and pretend like you're in the real world. Whereas with basketball or football, I mean, you can't. There's no simulation arena unless it's virtual reality that you could do. And I mean, NASCAR has a huge advantage, I think, in that respect, being able to continue on in kind of semi-reality.
And how amazing is it for iRacing and for this
is huge.
To have 1 million people tune in to watch this.
Yeah.
And I thought that the look of it and the way that they presented it was fantastic. You had a guy singing a national anthem out of his garage.
Oh, Dylan Scott. That was great.
Scott.
That was awesome.
Last year's it was peak then, but Coca-Cola Series iRacing champion Zach Novak doing the Gentlemen Start Your Engines.
Yep.
You had obviously an invocation. I mean, it looked as they made it as normal as you could possibly make it.
Yep.
And I thought that the way that it was presented and the way that Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon handled it, I mean, they announced it and called it with, to me, the proper balance of seriousness and a little bit of, whimsy and entertainment.
From 6 feet away in the Fox Sports studios.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and Clint Boyer was a hoot. I mean,
that was great.
He was perfect for the in-car audio. I mean, that was, to me, if you're going to put that out there, you want to take it seriously enough to know that you're still watching a race, it's still competitive, and somebody wants to win. Mm-hmm. But you have to realize you're watching simulation, and everybody's doing this for no prize money to have a good time and do something nice for the fans.
Yeah.
And 1 million people watched it. How cool is that?
There ended up being a lot of money donated to charity, too.
Yeah. Sure.
As Denny Hamlin was donating money per lap he led. And then
Harvick matched it. Fox matched it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yep, that's very cool. All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we'll talk to Hunter about Fitstop Performance and everything going on there. We'll continue talking about iRacing and coronavirus and all things NASCAR when we come back on the Inside Pass.
7 Greater Statesville, WSIC, where North Charlotte turns first for breaking news and severe weather alerts.
Hey, this is Jessica Babington from Trump International Realty here in Mooresville. Come see us for all your Lake Norman real estate needs. Check us out online at TrumpInternationalRealty.com. Again, that's TrumpInternationalRealty.com.
For WSIC, I'm Fox 46 meteorologist Nick Koser. 77 for the high this afternoon, falling down to 63 overnight. Clearing skies, and then for tomorrow, clouds move in, 30% chance for rain, and it'll be warm with a high of 80. Not as warm on Saturday, but still not bad, 72 with a 30% chance for showers. From the Neighborhood Stormwatch Forecast Center, I'm meteorologist Nick Koser. Be sure to catch Chief Meteorologist Tara Lane today on Fox 46 News at 5.
Guys, stop the madness. Look, I've tried these cheap online pills for my performance issues, but they didn't work.
He's not alone. Over 70% of these pills fail for most men. These are mass market pills, which means cheap and ineffective. The Carolina Men's Clinic has a 96% success rate. Call our Mooresville office now at 704-981-0050. Our doctors will tailor a treatment specific to your needs.
I went into the clinic one time. The doctors are amazing. I had results right in the office. And now, when I need it to work, it does.
Call 704-981-0050. If you have poor performance, ED, low T, low energy, weight gain, we can help. Your office visit is only $99. Call now, 704-981-0050.
I'm so glad I made the call. Now I perform when I want to.
Call our Mooresville office today and ask about our new performance treatment special. That's 704-981-0050 or thecarolinamensclinic.com.
Are you looking for new apparel for your business? How about a school or church event? Look no further than Lakeside Custom Tees and Embroidery of Cornelius. Their catalog features t-shirts, hats, jackets, coffee mugs, and more. Their number is 704-274-3730 or shop online at lkscustomtees.com. Lakeside Custom Tees, your exclusive headquarters for Lake Norman gifts and apparel.
Our chickens can't stop singing.
Flap on over to JB's and get a chicken fillet, fries, and a drink for only $5.99.
That's right. Chicken fillet, fries, and drink for only $5.99.
At JB's Hot Dogs, 320 Moxville Highway in Statesville.
Wash your hands, avoid sick people, and touching your face. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This is Justin Lofton, and you're listening to the best guys on the radio, the Inside Pass.
Welcome back to the Inside Pass on WSIC. Thank you so much for watching us on digital TV channel 25.2 in the greater Lake Norman, Charlotte, Mooresville area. Or if you're listening to us on one of the three WSIC stations, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM, or 105.9 FM. Thank you for listening to us there. Or if you're streaming our show right now at WSICweb.com, thank you for streaming our show. No matter where you are in the United States, we hope that you're staying safe and you are staying quarantined, and you're trying to stay away from anybody who's coughing, sneezing, hacking, or doing anything that remotely resembles coronavirus. Thank you for staying safe.
Unless you're drinking a Corona.
I mean, if you're drinking
but
Corona,
it's not
that's a
noon yet, so you probably shouldn't be doing that. But
that's
then you're stuck at home, so
that's considered a party
somewhere.
But
5 o'clock somewhere.
That's considered a party, but you're only allowed to have one other person with you because it's a minimum of two,
exactly.
a maximum of two.
Yeah.
So at least, I mean, again, I guess at this point, the best thing you can do is to drink alone.
Yeah, it worked for George Thorogood.
That would make you drink more, drinking alone. So
drink alone.
Not that we're advocating drinking at all, but I mean, clearly we all do. So it's whatever. You can call our studio if you have a question, comment, concern, anything like that. 704-873-1400. Don't be shy. We're all friends here, right? I think
we're all having a good time.
We're all having a great time. So welcome back to the show. Tom's sitting over there in the sewing seat today because we actually have an in-studio guest with us. To your left, my right, is Hunter Smith from Fitstop Performance in Huntersville. Basically, you hear a lot of talk, especially the last several years, about guys like Jimmy Johnson and their training regimen and the things that they do to stay in shape. During the course of the regular NASCAR season, there's more to it than just showing up at the racetrack and just jumping in the car and driving. There's a lot of performance, fitness stuff that goes on. And this man is responsible for at least some of the guys in their training regimens. So, Hunter, talk a little bit about what Fitstop Performance is, first of all, and how the normal person sitting at home listening or watching right now can get into the same kind of regimen that the NASCAR guys get into.
So, Fitstop Performance was born out of my training as a driver coming up. You know, I started off as a driver when I was 12, racing go-karts, racing dirt modifieds, all kinds of stuff. So when I got out of the driver's seat, I decided I want to do something with motorsports still. I couldn't get it out of me because we've all
once
talked
it's in
about
you, it doesn't leave.
Yeah, exactly. You can't get away from it. So so I started Fitstop Performance in 2018. I moved down here from New Jersey and decided to hit the ground running, no pun intended, but to work with these race car drivers and just get them to peak physical and mental preparation as best that we absolutely could, and make sure that they're ready for anything that's going to be thrown at them. Whether, it's like I said, it's the mental prep, it's the physical prep, it's everything, because there's so much that goes into it. I hear so often, and we all hear so often about these, everybody who says, oh, it's just getting in a car and turning left. Right? It's a little more than that. So, right. So we work with our guys on everything from core strength to neck strength to reaction time to hand speed and just flexibility, mobility, all kinds of stuff. So there's so much that goes into it. It would be hard to sit here and go over every little tiny bit thing, but
we don't have an hour show.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if you guys have anything specific, or if anybody who calls into that hotline has specific questions, we could definitely dive into that. But that's what we focus on. Our NASCAR guys, we work with the likes of Corey LaJoie, Joey Gase, Spencer Boyd, and then a handful of kids racing late models coming up and Legends cars. So there's nobody in this sport that we can't work with. Pit stop athletes, tire changers, which I know the dynamic of the pit stop. I always get tripped up saying pit stop, but hence why I named the business that. But
it's all on you, buddy.
Yeah,
it's all on you.
So that's what happens when you have to use the restroom.
Yeah,
exactly. Pit stop.
Yeah. So, but where were we?
Exactly.
So the dynamic of the pit stop athletes going to change next year, reportedly, with this the single lug nut deal. So a lot of stuff's going to change, and I'll be super interested to see how that changes from a physical standpoint of these athletes. But yeah, we're just a one-stop shop, fit stop. Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. So and I went to public school, so it's tough. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at.
So let that be a lesson to everybody who's homeschooling right now. Well, in public school.
This is why Hunter and I work so well together, because Hunter teaches him how to be in shape, and I teach him how to talk. Yeah. It works really well.
I apparently Hunter skipped a couple lessons.
Yeah,
while you guys are working together.
Oh no! I'm in great shape. Round is a shape. It's not the preferred shape.
So is pizza.
It's a shape,
It's a shape.
That's one thing too. We do have drivers of every shape.
Look, Spencer Boyd and I are pretty cool. You got to admit that,
I see more Ryan Newman when I look at you.
I have a neck.
Well, true, but I mean, in terms of what circumference is that a good word to say?
Ryan could drop me with one punch. Come on, let's be serious.
He's country strong.
He's very country strong.
You know what though, and that's something you and I have talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
People want to make light of all this fitness craze in racing.
Yeah.
And they use, back in the 70s, the Allisons and Buddy Baker, all those guys, they didn't need all this fitness stuff. They just went out and drove. Look, back then, cars didn't have power steering.
Yeah.
They literally got a 500-mile workout.
Exactly.
Cal Yarborough's arms were huge because he had to muscle a car around for 500 miles with no power steering.
Yeah.
It's the world has changed, the sport has changed, the cars have changed, and so what I think's been discovered is with all this, not just the weightlifting and all of that, but a lot of the hand-eye coordination exercises that I see you doing now.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought that there was a lot of value in that, because that also relates to vision and what your eyes and your reflexes and all of that.
Right.
There's more to it than just, lifting kettlebells and doing push-ups.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Tom, you've known me for a while now and know that I'm a huge Conway Twitty fan, but our drivers don't need slow hands. They need fast hands. So it's all about having a quick hand. There's a lot that goes into the reaction time, and the way I look at it is we relate that back to the guys in the 70s is times have changed, and if you look back, there's races back then where the cars of the guys in 1st through 5th were so far advanced of the guys in 6th through 43rd.
Yeah.
Richard Petty, and this is nothing to take away from any of those guys, but Richard Petty's winning races by 13 laps, by over the whole field.
Yeah.
So now you look at it as no one's really. The cars, to an extent, are still different. Every team has a different level of competition, but there needs to be an advantage anywhere you can find it. And if you can find that advantage in your driver's fitness and your driver is more mentally focused and mentally clear and not worried about his arms hurting during a race or his core falling out of the seat or his butt starting to hurt, like if we could take that away, then your driver is going to have a much better shot of staying focused and being competitive in these 500, 400, 300-mile races.
Yeah, so we're talking about 65 or 70 drivers just in the big 3 series of NASCAR. There's not one program that's fit for every single driver. Everybody has a different, like, they'll come to you and be like, I want to work on this, I want to work on that.
Right.
So, I mean, how many different training regimens have you seen? Just different people coming to you and going, I want to work on my strength, I want to work on my conditioning, I want to work on my hand-eye coordination.
Right. I mean, at any given time, let's just say we have 5 drivers. Those 5 drivers are going to have 5 different programs completely. Exactly. So we focus on what the drivers need for the sport. So obviously, that's going to be relatively similar. You're going to need your quick hands. You're going to need to have a certain body composition, what you're made up of. That's all going to be kind of similar. Strong core, strong neck, stuff like that. But then I look at these drivers, and my big thing has always been these drivers are not going to be drivers for the rest of their lives.
Right.
Eventually, they're going to have families, and they're going to want to be able to spend time with those families and just be a healthy individual. So we focus on that, too. So we have a lot of drivers who I asked them in the beginning, I said, okay, you're racing in the truck series. Let's prepare you for the truck series, get you ready for that. But at the same time, what do you want personally? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to maybe lower your cholesterol? Do you want to gain weight? Do you feel like you're skinny and lanky, and because of that, you don't have the muscle to get through a race?
I resent that
I have a handful of both demographics, so which is it makes every day interesting. But at this, it's just all so different. So and that's one thing I love, that every single day is different, and I have all these guys that I have to say, okay, I know this one's on a weight loss pattern, this one's on a weight gain pattern. So I have to differentiate every single training program to every individual person, which in my honest opinion, I like to say sets me apart from some of the other options in the area, is that every single one of our drivers is getting a different treatment, and it's specific to them. So that definitely, in my eyes, adds value to us, and we're going to focus on what's in the best interest for the client at all times.
I think a lot of what has been put to the forefront, especially with the training regimen, is what Fox is doing with Jimmy this year and putting the heart monitor on the car.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm so glad people are seeing that.
When he came, but I think that started getting people talking about, maybe there is more to just drivers than just jumping in a car and driving. I mean, you see. He trained and ran an Olympic, a marathon, 3 days before a race, and goes and runs a race, and it's like nothing ever happened. So I think Jimmy, may not have been the first, but I think he's the one athlete that everybody's like, well, if that's what he's doing, at 43 years old or 44 years old, that maybe I should be, at 27. Thinking about strength and conditioning just as much as he is.
Yeah, Jimmy, I can definitely say Jimmy wasn't the first, but he was the first to bring it to the forefront and make it a known thing. Aside from Tim Richmond going to
parties,
aerobics classes. You never seen the video of him in the aerobics class? Yeah,
but then he'd go to a party.
Yeah, exactly. See, I have wanted to remake that video for the longest time with Spencer and Corey and Joey Gase. Like, I wanted to take all those guys and get them in a bunch of ladies around us and do the aerobics class. But
Dason,
Josh, all those guys. Yeah. But yeah. So Ryan like Vargas. You said, I think it's crazy that the fans are seeing that heart rate monitor now in the race car with Jimmy Johnson. I know they started with Jimmy Johnson. I know they had it on Kyle Larson's car as well. Yeah. For me, it was really interesting to see who was able to regulate their heart rate the most. Jimmy, that heart rate
it's hardly ever changes.
I think the max I saw that was about 120. Yeah, 125 maybe.
And that was
Kyle Larson's peaked at like 170. Kyle Larson's peaked at 170, and I was like, okay, and that's nothing to whatever they're training, nothing against them, but it's very interesting to see who can do that. And lately, we've been working on that with our drivers too, is trying to focus on their breathing, getting them to calm down, because as soon as your heart rate peaks like that, so many of your other senses go away.
Right,
your vision starts to blur at a certain point. Your focus goes away.
Yep.
So the higher that is, the more, like you said, Jimmy, ice cold. If you can keep that heart rate regulated,
they showed it he avoided a big wreck at one point.
It was in
And it showed the
Daytona,
heart
I think.
monitor.
It went up like 2 or 3
Yeah,
beats, and then came right back
2
down.
beats a minute or something.
Yeah.
I'm just like, holy cow! Like he never, just ice in the veins.
Yeah.
That's amazing to watch something like that, because you understand that from an athletic performance standpoint, that is peak condition and also peak mental mindset. When you can be that relaxed to be able to not have the heart rate spike when you're trying to miss a wreck.
You look at it too. Jimmy's been at this for a long time, and I think you look at their backgrounds too. Jimmy he did all those trophy truck races, which you need to be able to remain calm during a lot of that stuff. I'm using the example of Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson's used to running 30 lap sprint car features where it's balls to the wall for 20 minutes, and go, and then come back down. So the backgrounds are a little bit different too, and I see that with our drivers. If our drivers are used to running late model races, or if they're running, dirt cars, stuff like that, you can see the differences in them even from a physical standpoint. Just in the gym, I can almost tell who
I think
had a background in
I think
what.
just character traits too. I always think that the first thing is, if you get to know the person individually, if that person has a strong work ethic and they're the type of personality that it's kind of the tiger mentality, they're not letting go of the stake, I mean, that person will work twice as hard as the person who's basically just kind of calm and cool and a little bit lazy and not really, all that, the kind of more passive personalities. So there's so much that goes into, how a person is, how they are, or why. I think, and it starts with just the individual themselves and their personal makeups, right?
Oh yeah, you definitely have to get to know your client, and this is not just on the racing side, but I've spent time as a personal trainer for the general population as well, but you definitely have to know your client and know how they train. And you can't. I've always been an advocate for giving people training styles that they like, because if you can get through this and you actually halfway enjoy it, it's going to be a lot better than if I give you 20 burpees and you absolutely hate it. One, that's a business deal. Like, you're not going to come back to me if you don't like what you're doing. You're not coming back to me. So I'm big on taking input from our clients, and everybody's got that different style. Corey LaJoy, for example, he likes very high intense, almost like a CrossFit style-esque training regimen, whereas, Spencer likes a more relaxed style. Joey Gase is more of a cardio based. He likes his heart rate to come up. He likes to get sweating and whatnot too. Vargas is big into the heat training. He likes doing that kind of stuff. So we'll have him in our sauna for extended period of time. So just learning everybody's style and how they train and how they receive training. How do I have to talk to this person to get them to motivate this person and to get them to go?
Yelling at them all the time.
Well, that's it. I can yell at
get off your butt and do something.
Exactly. Like I can yell at Corey or I can yell at Spencer, but I know they're going to yell back.
Right.
So if I want to avoid that, I just kind of, all right, here's what we're going to do. Let's knock it out. Turn the music up and let's go.
That's funny. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about Fitstop Performance and Hunter Smith when we come back on the Inside Pass on WSIC. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When you get in your car this afternoon, tune to News Talk 105.9 Lake Norman, 100.7 Greater Statesville, and get the latest breaking news and weather for your commute.
Headlines for Davidson and the region. Here's WSIC News. You've tuned in to hear local news, and so have a lot of other people. Your business could be advertising right here. Find out how affordable it can be. Call 704-872-6345, 704-872-6345.
Hey, radio family, it's Margaret Beveridge from the WSIC News Desk. NASCAR Hall of Fame driver Bobby Labonte is switching gears to lend a helping hand to children and parents in need of educational assistance while schools are shut down. Labonte is now offering personalized video shout-outs to the first 100 fans who book him through Cameo, a website and app that lets fans book their favorite talent. The proceeds of those bookings will go to the Bobby Labonte Foundation. For details, visit WSICFM.com. Beverly Knits, Inc. is proud to be involved in the effort led by Haynes and Parkdale to help support the fight against COVID-19, according to their website. Working with a coalition of textile companies, they are ramping up production in the United States to provide face masks for healthcare workers on the front lines. With the combined efforts of many small and medium-sized companies, they are retooling their production lines to begin manufacturing immediately. Beverly Knits is coordinating the production of up to 1.5 million masks produced domestically per week. I'm Margaret Beveridge with WSIC News.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent flooding, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm your new bangs, and you can't stop staring at me. That's it. Just tilt the rearview mirror over here. And while you're checking me out more times than a library book, your car is wandering into that lane over there. More bangs? Neat. And if you've got cut rate insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get Allstate.
Call me, Allstate agent Kyle Houston today, 980-434-7000.
Think your child might have swallowed the wrong medication, gotten into your household products, had a reaction to a bite or a sting? Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Join your friends from Oswald Baptist Church in Troutman, Sunday mornings at 8:30 on WSIC. Be informed and inspired with teachings from the Word of God by Pastor Wesley Morris. Sunday mornings at 8:30 on WSIC.
Join me, Darren Streblow, for the Darren Streblow Comedy Show, Sundays at 6 p.m.
Hello, race fans. This is Chris Wright. Thanks for listening to these guys. Man, what some great radio hosts. You're listening to the Inside Pass.
Welcome back to the Inside Pass on WSIC. Speaking of Chris Rice, he's going to be our guest on April 14th. So he'll get to talk to us about what's going on at Colleague Racing. I'm interested to see how...
Is he coming in now that,
Maybe.
We need to get him in here.
I'll try to see. It's not like they've got anything else to do. But it's just interesting to me to see, from a general manager perspective, what happens now that, they're sitting around doing nothing, basically, for the next couple of weeks. So we'll get some inside information on that. Welcome back to the Inside Pass. Tom Baker, Randy Miller, Hunter Smith with us from Fitstop Performance. We're talking about the training regimens of some of the NASCAR guys and even, you guys watching or listening at home. And how you can kind of take some of what he's telling you and kind of put it into your own kind of training regimen while you're quarantined at home. We'll talk about that in a second. If you have a question that you want to ask Hunter or any of us here in the studio, 704-873-1400. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, anything like that, just give us a call, and I'm sure Hunter will be able to answer any questions you may have about the fitness aspect of anything, even day-to-day life, as it pertains to the quarantine. So, speaking of the quarantine, obviously all the drivers are, at home right now, not really doing much. Can't go to the gym, can't go out and do anything. Are you kind of instilling the importance of being able to somehow stay fit, when you're quarantined at your house, since you can't go out to the gym, you can't go and do things that you would normally do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we're definitely talking about. And if one thing I do want to say, just in a general sense, with this virus that is going around and spreading, the best thing that you can do right now is stay active. The best thing you can do is exercise. Exercise is an awesome way to clear your respiratory system, which is obviously where this virus tends to attack. It also increases your white blood cell count, which is there to, fight off diseases. So, so definitely stay active, during this quarantine, to everybody doing that. But yeah, so working with our guys, honestly, right now, the biggest thing I'm telling them, I'm confident that they're all staying moving. We are still on kind of an online, text message thread, kind of getting them all, hey, make sure we're working on this today. Hey, can you get out, for a quick run today? Make sure we're doing that. We're doing group workouts once or twice a week just to kind of get a couple of our guys together, and whether it's a mountain bike ride or a trail hike or something, just to keep them moving. But their diets. So I'm sure a lot of people, I've seen a lot of things on Facebook and all that kind of stuff about how people stocked up their quarantine snacks for 2 weeks and they're gone in 10 minutes. So the biggest thing is keeping up with your diet at a time like this, because it's such a common thing to eat out of boredom. I'm a culprit of it. I 100% do it. So people sitting at home, if you can stay active, you're not going to have your mind on the M&Ms in the fridge or the M&Ms in the cabinet there. So, keeping up with diets and keeping up with, hey, let's not eat out of boredom. Let's eat when it's time to eat, and let's not be eating crap.
Yeah.
So
not changing your routine because you're at home.
Exactly.
Pretend as though it's a normal day.
You're trying to keep as much normalcy as possible.
Yeah.
And right now, a lot of us, I'm sure, are not sure what normal is, but you're trying to just keep a routine. If you're working from home, and there's a ton of people working from home right now. Mm-hmm. I know my mom up in New Jersey is one who is working from home right now, and I kind of instilled this with her is, hey, if you are generally at work and you work your 8 to 12, and then you take your lunch at 12, go into another room of the house for that lunch break. Make that your break room, your lunch room. Whether it's the living room or the basement, whatever. Just try to keep that. And then, if you're done with work at 5 o'clock, go outside, walk your block, or, back home we have a long driveway. So I told my mom, go walk the driveway a couple laps if you can. So just to kind of clear your mind out of that workspace, because I think it's hard right now for people to discern between work and home life, especially if your kids are at home being homeschooled. You're trying to work with all that, and we're not all teachers, so it can be kind of stressful. But try to my biggest advice to everybody right now is just try to keep as much normalcy as possible. Give yourself some mental clarity time. Whether
exactly.
that's whether that's before work and you're enjoying your coffee in the morning, or if it's after work, you go for a walk, or take the dog out or something. Just literally anything, or separate yourself that midday break too. Take that lunch break. Take it, and don't sit at your work desk, and I use air quotes for those listening to the radio, at your work desk.
Right.
Don't take it there. But I tell people that regardless, even if you're at work, don't take your lunch at your desk.
No,
because you never get away from the work.
That's true.
Well, and it's a mental thing.
100%.
I try to get up about every 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And if I'm here in the studio, I'll just get up, walk down the hall, or I'll walk around in my office or whatever.
Yeah.
And when I'm at home, I work, if it's nice out, I work on my deck.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you're sitting at the deck. I just get up and literally go downstairs and go outside and take a walk.
Yeah. 100%.
And 20 minutes, or so, and come back, and then you can refocus and get back to work. But it gives you that physical break as well as the the mental break from the stresses of work.
Yeah. I think the preconceived notion is that the people hear the government say stay indoors or hunker down or whatever, and that means I can't go outside. And I think that's what people think. Oh, well, I have to stay inside. Well, it doesn't mean you have to stay inside. You just can't drive anywhere. Like you can go outside of your apartment complex, your house, or your block, whatever. Just go outside. Fresh air and warmth, it will kill some of the germs on your body anyways. Just by being outside and getting vitamin C from the sun. So. I think a lot of people just have that preconceived notion that I'm not allowed to go outside my house, and that's what kills a lot of people's mentality too.
Yeah. So like I said, while everybody's sitting home, if you're working, try to keep as much normalcy as possible. In terms of diet and what we can kind of do to stay healthy, vitamin C. Randy, you talked about it. Vitamin C is huge. I drink these Celsius drinks before my workout every day. It's kind of like a healthy energy drink almost, but it's full of vitamin C, it's full of immune boosters and that kind of stuff. So if anybody runs out to their store to get anything, I know they're at Target. You can get them at Target, and they're pretty relatively inexpensive, and they're awesome little immune booster drinks. But so definitely increase that. If you're in your house, open a window. Fresh air.
Yes.
Fresh air is definitely key. I'm a little like OCD, so I have a slider door on my apartment, and it's like every 10 degrees it gets warmer, I crack it a little bit more. So if it's like 50, it's like a little bit cracked. By the time it's 80, it's all the way open.
Well, the next few days around here, you're going to have it wide open.
Yeah, I know.
This is great.
I'm stoked about it, but I know, obviously, once again, I'm saying I'm being from New Jersey. I know up there it's cold. Like yesterday it snowed.
It was snowing in my home
which is exactly why I moved here. So
me too.
It's do what you can, but get some fresh air. Make sure you're practicing. Wash your hands. I don't know why we have to tell people this, but wash your hands, and just stay calm. Relax. Call your parents. If you call a friend you haven't talked to in a while. Just just do whatever you got to do to stay calm.
Exactly.
I've been calling all my buddies from high school, just seeing like what they're doing, and it's amazing how I'm catching up with all these guys I haven't talked to in years. But it's just kind of cool. So while you do have a little bit of downtime, if you have it, take advantage of it, because our lives get so busy. Everybody's always too busy. We're always all too busy. We got this going on. We got this going on. So look at the positive of this right now. It does give us a little bit of time to kind of regroup, not only just with our jobs, but kind of with our lives a little bit. So take the time and take advantage of it. Like, do your work, do what you got to do, and do what's necessary. But at the same time, like, enjoy your family, like, enjoy everything that's around you right now. This life is actually awesome. So, enjoy it.
That's true.
I agree. I mean, it's amazing. I see a number of posts, people playing Monopoly and playing cards, and, it's like eating dinner at the table. I mean, all concepts that I grew up with.
It's great.
And that was life. And, nowadays, like you said, we're so overscheduled and overstimulated by everything that we never get a chance to stop and just chill out together.
Yeah.
So, I think everybody just needs to breathe, basically, and relax and let this thing play out. Mm-hmm. There's not much we can do about where we are other than what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, so just relax and go with it. And like you said, find things to do with your family and just be still for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Follow the CDC guidelines, and we will be over this in a couple of months.
Yeah.
All right,
stay hydrated, too.
That's
Drink
right.
lots of water.
Yes.
Drink lots of water. I forgot
true.
that one.
Yeah,
it's the most important
I do
thing.
that anyway.
We are going to take our final break. When we come back on the other side, we'll continue talking about coronavirus and being safe and keeping a regimen even during quarantine. We'll be back with more of the Inside Pass right after this.
This is News Talk 105.9 Lake Norman, 100.7 Greater Statesville, WSIC, where Statesville turns first for breaking news and severe weather alerts.
Did you know that Vesuvius Italian Restaurant and Pizzeria caters? That's right. Give them a call today at 704-924-7464, 704-924-7464, and let them make planning your next event or family gathering effortlessly. They're right at the Lowe's Shopping Center, 118 Ventura Lane, Statesville. You won't find a better Italian restaurant anywhere. That's Vesuvius Italian Restaurant and Pizzeria, 118 Ventura Lane, Statesville.
For WSIC, I'm Fox 46 meteorologist Nick Koser. 77 for the high this afternoon, falling down to 63 overnight. Clearing skies, and then for tomorrow, clouds move in, 30% chance for rain, and it'll be warm with a high of 80. Not as warm on Saturday, but still not bad, 72 with a 30% chance for showers. From the Neighborhood Stormwatch Forecast Center, I'm meteorologist Nick Koser. Be sure to catch Chief Meteorologist Tara Lane today on Fox 46 News at 5.
This is Margaret Beveridge with your local news. The 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games will be postponed likely until 2021, according to one International Olympic Committee member. Neither the IOC nor the Tokyo 2020 Organizing Committee had announced a decision to postpone as of Monday afternoon. Yesterday, Governor Roy Cooper ordered tighter limits on gatherings and extended school closures statewide to May 15th. The order also closed some businesses that require close social interaction and limited visitors to long-term care centers. The executive order's effective date will be Wednesday, March 25th. Also, Monday, the governor's request for a major disaster declaration for North Carolina was received by FEMA. This specifically requested individual assistance, small business administration disaster assistance, and more. With nearly 300 cases of COVID-19 reported in South Carolina, Governor Henry McMaster has issued an executive order allowing police to break up gatherings of 3 or more people in public spaces. I'm Margaret Beveridge with WSIC News.
Yes, for an appetizer, I'll have this one. And make sure it has leather interior.
Yes, madame, an excellent choice.
In many cases, today's car thieves are very discriminating with expensive tastes. They pick and choose the models they want and place an order. And once they stick a fork in your hot ride, it's arrivederci. Help us put a stop to this free lunch. If you suspect car theft or insurance fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Hey, it's Margaret Beveridge with the WSIC News Department. We greatly appreciate you being a part of our radio family and tuning in to WSIC News Talk for your news first.
I'm Chase Elliott, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
Welcome back to the Inside Pass on WSIC. Having some fun here on a Tuesday morning. We're talking about some states having, the restriction where you can only have like 2 or 3 people in a group or in a gathering or whatever. And we're talking about, what if you have like 4 kids? And so, like, I have 2 kids and my wife, so I figure I'll just grab the kids and walk away. And my wife is like, I don't know her. She's not with me.
The kids count as half.
Right. Well, yeah, mine do because mine are really little.
Yeah.
So that's just one kid.
Yeah, it's one kid.
In the movies where they have, like you stack the kids on top of each other, put a big coat over them, and it's like one person. That's what you could do. Just be like, that's just one person. I don't know where that came from. Welcome back to the show. Tom Baker, Randy Miller, and Hunter Smith from Fitstop Performance. Just kind of talking about what you guys can do at home, exercises, things that you can do. The name of the game is just get out in the world. And walk around your neighborhood, meet some neighbors, although stay 6 feet apart, no handshakes, and just wave from a distance.
Wave from a distance, boys.
And just kind of, just calm down. Everything will be okay. And, practice the CDC guidelines. That's the main thing. I mean, people, the president comes on every day and, talks about the task force stuff and, the governor's on every couple of days, narrowing the gap between, what we actually can do as a society. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if we just do the simple things in life, washing your hands, using hand sanitizer, disinfecting surfaces, staying, practicing social distancing, this will all go away. The more that we continue to defy what the CDC says and, keep having mass gatherings and, everybody running to the same aisle of the grocery store for toilet paper, that's the kind of thing that's going to keep us, keep this
one at a time
restriction going.
Yeah, one at a time.
So I mean, it's the simple things, but I mean, we all, Tom and I, especially, and even Hunter, we want to see things get back to normal or some semi-normalcy. We want NASCAR to come back. We want our sports to come back. We want to be able to go to a restaurant and eat. We want to, be able just to go outside and talk with our neighbor, in closer proximity than we already do. And we can't do those things right now, but. It's the important thing is just staying active, staying fit, and just doing stuff to basically take your mind off of what's going on in the world right now. Because the media, has a tendency to make things sometimes a little worse than they are, and it makes everybody's brain just rattled because that's all you hear when you turn on the news anymore. So it's about turning off the news and just going outside and forgetting that bad stuff is happening in the world.
Well, it's not balanced.
Right.
I mean, everybody talks about, the death toll has climbed to... I want to hear about all the people who've recovered.
Right, exactly.
Give us both stats.
And that number is way higher.
Yes.
I
mean, and I'm not saying that to minimize the seriousness, I'm saying give us balance, because balance gives us some sort of hope.
Yep, 100%.
If you're going to tell us that 150 people have died, then, tell us about,
the 750,000 that have recovered.
Well, that's what bothers me, too, is that, like you turn on the news and, like this morning, the news was talking about, there's now, 700,000 people or whatever that have been tested positive for this. It's like, okay, that is a high number, but there's 6 billion people, yes, that's a high number, but that doesn't compare to the number of people actually living here in the United States. You know what I mean?
The other thing is that, we've all been conditioned, if you're my age or around my age, I'm 52. I mean, we grew up with the Russians are coming, and air raid drills and all of that in school, right? So we've been.
It wasn't the British are coming?
Ooh.
Sorry.
Thanks, Randy.
I had to.
You're fired.
Well, there's more than 3 people in the room anyway, so goodbye.
Yikes. That's what you get for getting within 6 feet of Hunter and violating the. Look, at the end of the day, again, it's about just keeping a balance. I feel like, all they want to do, like the Surgeon General, it's going to get bad this week. Why? I expect it to get bad because we're testing more people. I understand the numbers going up. Explain that.
Yeah.
Don't just say it's going to get really bad, so be prepared.
Yeah.
Because the test results are coming back.
Communication is key here. Mm-hmm. Relax and give us, like I said, give us balance.
Yeah.
That's all, because that way at least we know what to do with the information. We don't feel like the world is going to end. And I think that's been kind of the whole fear factor in this has, I think, caused more people to sort of rebel against it than if we just simply explained it with logic and said, look, here's the reality of this. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it's going to get bad, and here's why. As we test more people, that number is going to go up. That doesn't, you gotta balance that with the fact that all these people are recovering.
Yeah.
But we need you to, because what we're doing is working. And I really, truly believe it is. I think the reason our number's still so low isn't just because we haven't tested everybody. It's because we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, enough of us. And so if you just explain and encourage rather than scare the crap out of people, then you won't have so much mass confusion and people hoarding toilet paper, for crying out loud.
Which now is a federal crime, by the way.
Yeah,
so
it's
some states are making people sell it.
Stores are being reasonable too, and saying
Right,
limit one or whatever.
exactly. Which they should have done from the
I
very
went,
beginning.
I went to Walmart a week ago. I didn't really need it, but I said, you know what? I'm getting one big thing of it, just so then I don't have to worry about it now.
Yeah,
I'm single, so I'm good till like June.
Right there,
24 pack or whatever I got. It's like, but now I'm done with it, and I don't have to worry about it, and everybody else can have what they need. And if people would just use common sense, we'd have a lot less of this going on. And I think the whole sports thing too was very much that way. This is why everybody because all within 36 hours, we killed like 4 major sports.
Yeah. It was quick.
We have players in all 4 of those sports who have tested positive for coronavirus.
Well, sure. And I'm not saying it wasn't warranted that we should have stopped, but I just think the way that it, like, all in that short of a time, let's just sort of settle down here. I mean, like the whole NASCAR thing in Atlanta, for example, we were already there.
Yeah.
Or Hickory a few weeks ago. They're in the middle of a race program.
Yeah.
Everybody been there for 6 hours. Let them finish it before, before you enforce the curfew that got signed at 6:15 that night.
I'm convinced that
not
fumes,
curfew, but the ban on.
I'm convinced that the fumes from race fuel actually kill the virus because not a single person in NASCAR has been tested positive.
True.
So,
knock on wood.
Knock on wood, not a single person, but it is interesting. And like you said, it happened really, really fast.
Yeah.
And I think that's the fear part. But I think, to me, the most disappointing thing, and being in the health space that I'm in, is I eat relatively healthy. I like the normal diet that everybody should kind of eat is, and I go to the grocery store and all the stuff that I eat is still there. But that blows my mind. Like, cause I'll go and, for example, like, I drink oat milk as opposed to regular milk. So
really,
So, I'll go and get that, no problem. But then if I go to like, the aisle with all the Coke and the Mountain Dew and all that stuff's gone. And that blows.
Walmart had plenty of that.
Yeah, I mean,
that is true,
maybe
though.
I'm just going to a different store, but like, that's kind of what blows my mind. And like, you go down the candy aisle and like the M&Ms and Reese's
People
are gone,
have
but I can get
raided
brown
the
rice, no problem.
Frozen food aisle.
Yeah.
Frozen food is almost impossible.
Yeah, and I don't think people understand that. I'll see people post now. It's like, oh, there's a shortage of this. No, there's no shortage of it. You're taking it too fast before the trucks can get there.
Too much.
Exactly. That's the same. I went to Harris to Lowe's yesterday, and they had, like, all their bread aisle was completely empty, or their bread aisle was completely full, but the tortillas were gone. Like, people, they ran out of bread, so they're using alternative methods to get their bread fix. This is like using tortillas. I'm like, but what if I want a taco? Like, I can't even have a taco now. I have to
you get a bread taco.
It's like a hot dog sandwich.
Yes, exactly.
Well, where I come from, I was poor growing up, so bread was hot dog buns, hamburger buns, toast, regular bread,
100%,
garlic bread.
Everything.
Yeah, it was used for just.
I bet you there's people using bread for toilet paper right now because they can't get anything else. I'm just saying.
And Hunter just ruined bread for me. So I will now be returning the loaf of bread I bought yesterday at Lowe's because I don't need it anymore.
My arsenal of snappy comebacks did not include one for that. Nothing for that.
Somewhere though, somebody's watching right now going, you know what? That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I got bread.
If your bread is stale.
Yeah,
right,
it's not Nutella.
So tell everybody how they can learn more about Fitstop Performance website and social media and all that kind
of stuff. So you can follow us on all of our social media. We have Facebook, Fitstop Performance. That's FITSTOP Performance. You can follow us on Twitter at Fitstop Perform. Instagram at Fitstop Perform. You can check all that out, and then www.fitstopperform.com. See all of our different stuff there. We have online programs for anybody that can come on and and you can get your workout programs. If you're sitting at home right now, you want to try something new, reach out to us and we can get you something, probably get you something going.
And you've got your own podcast.
And we have the Fitstop Performance podcast, which lately has been a little sporadic, but
you're doing a great job with
I appreciate that. So you can go to SoundCloud and look up Fitstop Performance, and you can listen to all of our episodes there, different drivers and different other personalities that we
share it on your social media too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that sounds like a good.
Scroll down, you'll find it.
Sounds like a good idea. We will have more on all of this situation, of course, next week on the Inside Pass. Nick DeGroot will join us from motorsport.com, and we will see you guys Thursday on Motorsports Madness right here on WSIC. For Tom Baker and Hunter Smith, I'm Randy Miller. We'll see you Thursday. Have a great week, everybody, and be safe.
News Talk for Denver. This is 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, and 1400 AM, WSIC Statesville.
WSIC News Time is 12 o'clock. Chris Weigel with you this afternoon. Rush Limbaugh is up next, right after Fox News, and a check of your local forecast.